Hello mates, this is Discovery Scouts, a Pirates of the Caribbean film series here. Today is Saturday, February 11, 2017. So I just went out for Old Country Buffet for breakfast, and I started to walking around for the food court to drinking lots of water, and I just went into the restroom for the Sears, and I just went back into the hall, went back to the mall, just walking to the exercise. There could be a lot of them, about 35 calories to be a lot of those for exercising to around the mall, and that's just where we're going. That's where we're going to one adult at a time, and so I had to see you about the movies. It started at about the Lego Batman, and who's been the players at about Michael Keaton, Christian Bale, and now Ben Affleck. And the new Batman coming out today is next year, is 2018. After the Justice League, November 2017. So when the Superman was still alive, his parents, Kira and Jor-El. This is where he was born in 1980 from Krypton. And this is called, opening title is Prologue. When did they could about his planning to save our planet. His plan is about the very end of it for his Krypton. They were deceased. Generals lost this planet to save our people. You know, for some of you, that's just where how to plan. And when they Jor-El send the Kal on Earth, the name is Clark Kent. But for this a noble parent is Martha and Jonathan, and there are another friend here for about exclamations about elementary school is a young and another young Clark Kent, and the one of those have about school bus today, a school bus. So one that we recent of about 33 years later. For Clark has saved our people and children on the bus. He is a good man on the school bus. So his father Jor-El was gone today. He was, according to the codex, under the air in the body, living in one with a huge body. Maybe Clark just save it from bus to falling under the water as much as they can. And the hero is stronger. If there's something on the photograph here, is one of the Easter side for yesterday's. Here's one of the side about the Superman. Superman saves one of those kids. The young one, they could be asking why is that, what's happened there. You know, I'm pretty lost that we have to, some of those are safe to do, the hearing to help. Looks is gonna have to see what we're about to the ending about the time. You know, lots of kids and lots of friends, and lots of busy, lots of boss, and the miss of Mother today, and Laura and Jor-El misses his son Clark Kent, and Kal-El. One we would have to the adoptive parents there. This is where we're gonna plan. This is where we're gonna plan from parents today. Is Jor-El and Laura, and Martha and Jonathan. There are most of the two mothers and two fathers. And those who had descended be here about a couple of years. So we've been there about 17 years old. Father was conversations about his father was driving with his truck. The same house that have been busy. Yeah, but he just says he's sick and tired of us saying, I just wanted them to make sure that be going back to his life, back to his parents who misses them. But he can't believe what he did what he could when the weather was coming to the roaring beyond the side about the people panic and clamoring. If there's a tornado warning, there's one of them for Kansas. His father wasn't communicating that they're going to people in there. They don't want it to die. You know, the guy Jonathan was get the dog, and he was currently just stuck it with his leg, but he tries to push it up. He tries to let the leg go, but he tries to stop, but he didn't save him. But say, Dad! But his father died, and he wasn't convinced he could have to wait. And so one day half of about the memories. So the seeds about today as the day was souls. It's a new. Here was a bad feeling about this, and about few things later, and about this. When 13 years later, when the boat had arrival for the Deepwater Horizons, it would just as happened there that about April 2010 disasters. When Clark Kent just calling to the fishman, but he swims him, but he saved our men just escaping from the fire, from the destroy was a tragedy. It was the oil. It was something about just breaking all of those issues, let the air out. Those are men, they're not gonna die. So those who wanted the choppers to, those who had to save our lives, to save our good, too bad what they could have been about survived. You know, some excuses and one says about the man who kind about to save them. He pushes him. They drown. He's dying under the water. He's hearing to walk up there to the humpback whale, and he's sirening, and he's look up there onto the water. There's this humpbacks just moved it around, just very a worldless thing. He saved them, but the whale saved Clark. But he swam back to the beach. He tries to get to his about new clothes, and he's getting it, but he tries to get the clothes out of the trunk. Those are the strange people, the strange guy and girl, and the reason who could be started for the show right now, you know, maybe Clark Kent have just running over to the restrooms, but he was safe. But he has been safe at about 2010, when Clark has to been 30 years old. That he can survive. He could what he could. I will explain about something about the stories, and about 1 year later, when Clark was working on the bar today, one when the woman just safe. So one when the woman just looked straight over and over again. You know, one of the tree guys just came into the bar just alone. He keep touching the girl's butt. He could be one of it inappropriate. He tries to touch his shit, but she said, "Stop it." But Clark saved him. He saved her. He says, "Hey, leave her alone." And he's standing up face to face with him. But he says, he asks him to leave, and he says no. The clamoring people don't need to stop the party. We haven't no idea what he haven't no idea just about harassing the bar and the restaurant. He just splashed the coffee with his face, and he's pouring his hair too. He pushes him, but he moved it back, slipping, falling down almost. But he was quitting. He gets disbanded with his job at the bar, and but he needs to get to break it with his tree, and the tree gathering to the tree woods to break it those in the trunk. So he needed to leave to pack those things. He gets walk out to another thing about Antarctica. And 2 years later, from Man of Steel today. So day to time, Earth from Krypton. He knew what he could. When Kal-El just walk into the scout ships, when the Krypton just gather around his about something that was a very strange ships, and he literally just find out about the ships. He's already started. So right to this and no reasons. So we also would have to do something, someone else to do. And one thing that happened, the photographer from Daily Planet, the lady just photographed her on the camera woman, and she notices about looking to the zoom in the viewer stuff and say, what the hell think is going, but she followed him, and he didn't know for what he followed by her. The reason it could be the following me, reason to go inside for the ship, but Clark just wondered would have to looking for the Superman suit. But he was an edit to gather to look into the death people. But he just figured it out. He got it over in about 33 years. But he was preparing for the scout ship of Jaron Zod. But he mentioned, but Kal just have to put in the button stuff to turn those light on the blue when the electronics gunner and electronics Kira just literally pulling with his arm, just talking war. But he pressed the button, but he was interrogating on the blue light on. But it's just like the literally just seemed he willing to do something about Superman. But he always has to do it, and but it's certainly great waste of the time, But the Lois Lane from Daily Planet, who will follow him to taking the shot, whether the Kira, He just shot with this. He shot over. She gets injury, but she gets fights back. He ripped off the electricity, but she scared her off and she's freaking out. But he said stop. He said he was resisting her. He said stop resisting, stop resisting. He said it's alright, it's alright, it's alright, it's alright. So hold still, and everything could be alright at any time, you know. And something silent and seems everywhere. For one thing, as the great most Clark Kent, and it just wanted to save them. He gets blood over and side of the right stomach. He gets it internally. He gets it hurt to the internally. He holds her hand. He's holding for still. She gets green. She gets better. But the ship, when the scout ship goes away, but he could be landed. It could be landed onto the ice. The ones that are everywhere, but they communicated with his father, but he would find out which the offensive side. So he will see him for a long time. When Joel just meeting for Cal, for the heroes look back to with his father. From Krypton, just literally just back in the planet, just Mr. Senator R.I.P. So the representative incineration penalty, and those who had something about Kal-El meets Joel with his son and his dad, but he was literally just misses him so much, but he was telling him for the story, and it's a plan, a love story, as the Krypton, as it stars as the battling of the World War. But General Zod's army was the saying, World War as it knows in the Krypton. He just an execution and trial. And the answer to the Krypton, they had explosion on this planet. They ruined his life. When Zod did this, he could be one the great purpose. He's gonna show him about the new suit today. It is about the presentations for Clark. Whose suit, as the great people on Earth, as the great most intelligently good a purpose, good postures, but he gets the suit on with the red cape, but it goes good for good. It was a good different. He walks slow. He tries a flying lesson to jump, to flying around, to try to fly really hard. But he goes to fly over the sky. But he just fall down to about and the 25,000 feet. But he tries to get up. He gets internally slow motion. He goes back up to the flying around to the Earth. And they're flying around the circle from Africa to the crossing there for the coast of the Atlantic Ocean. They seem like Arizona State. They're flying around the mountains. It looks half the scene is about his holiday. So 100% of flying there, just a training station about Henry Cavill, the Andrew trial. And so he wanted to say Superman just flying around on Earth in the world. But Lois long stories, just literally find out about his show. He's minding their own business with the chopper guy say, too bad. And that's joke. But with the boat on the ship guy just don't want to look at it. But and the lady just seemed about 2 years last. But he looking for the Lois Lane. He looking for Clark Kent. But he's tried to see Peatrice on IHOP today. So but she came in the IHOP just as we talked about school bus. He also seems really weird. And but she drives to the Kent's house. But he was gonna talk about it with his son Clark Kent. But he went out for the cemetery with his funeral with his father. But he meets the Clark. But she says where he's from. What is he doing here? Where they need somebody to photograph him. You know, sometimes he's thankful so much. So I don't have to totally about disappearance today. It's a day, but turn out for a few moments. For every most of the film, if he was saying was to convince him, and about the last one of them about 16 years for later. So now it's in a chance, and now it's in the only one about everything's at the moment. When the aftermath of the 16 years last, where his father passed away, but he killed by tornado warning. He was convinced of ending of the time. So what does he think? What does he think about so much of the views? If anything about Daily Planet there, Perry was just conversion for Lois. She seems house about very most of them. Messengers, he seems about his plan. His mom just went up from his parents, Kiara and Joel. Is she very proud of him? Well, to tonight's night, when the violation and virus on the phones, TVs, computers, PDAs, iPads, and on top of the security cameras. And those who have the messages from General Assad, to see how to surrender for 24 hours, to led by Assad. He didn't know that about those of him. He was at a speech. He was in messengers about Kal-El. He bought it from Kodesh from his father. He was a community to the earth. He was stronger than man can help. And he will have to see everything about the convinces it. He will be the domain. He was the commanded it. Sorry about that. So I would say communicating that just had to saying no more such as idea with this about Seuss thing. Where the lower just watches on the TV shows and the breaking news. Where the guy just read it about just the guy for the new guy from this planet. For her working, she's working on the Daily Planet. She has a reporter. Where she looked down there's the FBI just coming over and over. She gets arrested. But he went to the visit for the church. The reason it could be the reason who had about lump sum terms. He listened to the radio hits. Who is the Kal-El? Who is Clark Kent? who seems looks like about for different from New Planet. For the NASA house about a new intelligently, he's been an entire, but it's been threatened. It is a terrible lies and things happen, and so one of the reason that it gets talked about this, but he was converted for church for this one of the sweeping guy. He has the right nose, but he has the right no for the good reasons. But U.S. Army just wanted the battle thing for the Superman, tries to kill it. But he hears to talk to, he's here to see Lois Lane. When Calvin Swanwick, what makes us think of the situation here? But he says they're trying to game us here, General. He surrendered. He gets handcuffed, but he gets an interrogation for the Lois. He was converted to love, and he was a confirmation. He was confirmed. Here was a silently. Here was a speech. Here was the man that could be the assistant. If you don't, he could be survived. If you could be wait to see any of you anytime, but the same difference. So one will have to everything will have to see any of them before any of time about the losing the stuff for different ways. If before it's wasting that time, but he has to feel moments. He has to be learn, and he has to have done it for about a few minutes, a few hours. But Clark and Lois just confirm it to the love. He did the same thing, and he holds the hand. He holds her hand, and they're staring. But the ship is coming. Where something just looking for one of those U.S. soldiers. This man was an alien. One of who has the girl said, that's Faye. She was super villain from Angie trial. She seemed was the commander of General Zod. She looked like gonna see that the woman was accompanying him, and he asking for the new alien. And she was complying for her. He was complying nation for her. She's leaving for the scout ship. He wanted to see the Zod as the commander. I wanted the workers to. They started 33 years later. It seems looks like any of them. It'll look like the seems that what's happened for now. Where the Cal just met General Zod for the first time. It seems like in the form of the celebrations. His eyes to the rider, he was rejected on the ships. He was spit over on the ground to the blood. There's his blood over from his mouth. He was injecting with his eye. He has no reason. He has to be underestimated. Whether it's a dream, as a dream. You know? So I'm decided with the seas. How's the attitude going to? So I'm not gonna able to do long stories in a Man of Steel right now. So I'm gonna walking home right now. So don't forget to subscribe to more content. Follow on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Google, and find the Twitch live stream. Gaming channels, jogging on Elmwood, New Jersey State, on Los Angeles, California State, Caucasoc, Time Allow, Hangouts on Play Stores. Follow the links description of friends on Majorca Nuggets on Los Angeles, California, for Elmwood, New Jersey, Big Brother, Jody Stahlbarger, Kid Behind the Camera with Emily Stahlbarger, Amalessa, Psycho Mom, Psycho Dad, Larry's Lounge, Joe Bum, Psycho Aunts, Psycho Uncles, The Anchor Grandpa Shows, Grandpa's Corner, Tony Tornado, The Amanda Jean Show, Crazy in Love, Tony, Derek Diesel Daily, Cubic Guy, The Cubic Guy Life of Moco, Spacious Gardens, Life of Boo, Next Boo, The Boo Show, Prank vs. Prank, Karen Edwards Jr. 1 and 2, and BF vs. GF, Woman Atwood Wings, Allison Daddario Topic, Forever Alex Anna, Kay Upton, Justin and Ben Farlander, and Logan Lerman, Brendan T. Jackson, Douglas Smith, Jake Aba, Hollywood Aba, Jim Perrick, and Lever Rambin Perrick today. So Margie Robbie, Will Smith, Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, Amy Adams, Gal Gadot, and Ursa Miller, and Jason Momoa. So don't forget the subscription to Leftovers. Team Queen, Reagan Dad, and Bro Squad today. So love you guys if you're free to death. Don't forget. So Home on TV, and Jackson Rodarchi, and John Me TV, and Matthew Daddario, and Catherine today, and Catherine. Love you guys if you're free to death. So don't forget. So keep it rich and mateys.